Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Book of Love podcast with your matchmaker and dating coach, Geneva Dickey. This is a podcast that interviews singles in all stages of singlehood, and we also sit down with experts to discuss dating in today's modern day culture. Now, today's episode is a special one. It is the Book of Love Hotline, which it feels like it's been forever since we've done a Book of Love Hotline, but here we are. Now that we're once every 2 weeks, I can't remember the last time we did this, but I'm excited because I have a huge list of questions from followers, friends, and clients, and I chose 2 that are kind of under the same theme, and then one very special one that I think will create a really interesting answer for everybody that's out there in the online dating world or thinking about getting out there into the online dating world. Now, before I get into today's episode, I wanted to reiterate the main rule that I think everybody should have when they're out dating, and that is no bashing of the opposite sex. The reason that I wanted, it's been a while since I brought this up on the podcast, but the reason I wanted to is because I've experienced a lot of bashing and negativity towards the opposite sex from those that I'm working with and interacting with over the last month. Now, I wanted to talk about this because they always are having a bad experience dating. They're always not having fun. They're not enjoying the process. And I understand that there's bad experiences out there, but a lot of the time it is our mindset. And so the minute we stop speaking poorly of the opposite sex, the minute our mind actually starts thinking of them a little bit more positively. And so also, we can't be out into the dating world, into that pool of people that we are trying to date, while also to our friends, family, and coworker, bashing that entire gender. It just does not communicate. And what happens is we actually will repel those really great, positive people that could potentially be great partners for us. And we attract the negative people because negative people are attracted to that negativity that you're putting out into the world. Okay. So that I just wanted to reiterate that if we want to just shake our little minds right now and just kind of come back in with a positive mindset, the people that you're meeting in the future are not the people of your past. And if they prove you right, that's okay too. But most likely they're going to prove you wrong when you have a positive mindset. So let's just move into the dating world positively. And also before we get into today's episode, I want to talk about what's going on here at JE Matchmaking. Now, if everybody's waiting for events, we have 2 speeding events launched. We have a summer party launched. We have a Bridgewater event coming up this Friday. And we have a speed friending launched. Go to my website, jematchmaking.com/events if you would like to register for any of those. But one of the more exciting things that we are putting on is this Sunday, June 5th at 7 p.m. is a women's only workshop. Now, Sean Acoyne, our male dating coach, and I decided to put this on because we just finished the male boot camp. And throughout that entire boot camp, I had epiphany after epiphany after epiphany of the male psyche, how they think and how they communicate when dating. And it's very, very, very different to how women communicate. And so I was taking notes throughout the entire time of the things that I realized because I wanted to communicate it to my ladies. Now, it's not like we're sharing men's secrets here. What we're doing is we're going to make dating easier for you and we're going to make dating easier for men. When we understand how the opposite sex works, thinks, moves, and loves, we are going to have a better experience dating. And so that's why I wanted to do this workshop. Now, it's going to be a 1-hour lecture and then about a half hour to a 1 hour of Q&A in which you can ask myself or our male dating coach, Sean, any questions you have around what men are thinking, experiences that you've had, etc., etc. Now, if you cannot make it for that date and time, still register because we will be sending out a recording the following day. So that is really, really exciting. I'm really excited about that. And so go check out all that stuff. And then, of course, there is the Book of Love. So if you are not in the Book of Love yet, definitely book in a 15-minute phone consultation with me where we can discuss all the details and then get you into the Book of Love and go from there. It's a great place to start and have another tool in your toolbox when out dating. Now let's get into today's hotline. So let's just jump into the first question. So my boyfriend and I really love each other. We have been together for 6 months and have lived together for 2 of those. We are big gamers and stay at home together quite a bit, but we really enjoy spending time together there. The only thing is he doesn't like coming out and spending time with my friends and family. He used to when we first started seeing each other, But he was really quiet, and my friends and family didn't get a chance to get to know him because he did not try. Now, I know he has told me he has social anxiety and he finds it hard to socialize with people he doesn't know, but he spent enough time with them to really get to know them, and he still hasn't warmed up or opened up to them. Now, whenever I invite him out, I have to beg him, and I know he really doesn't want to come. So when we go out, I have to beg him, and I know he doesn't want to be there, so I don't enjoy myself as much as if I had gone by myself. My friends and family are really important to me, but I don't know what to do. We have such a great relationship when it's just the two of us. We love each other. We treat each other so well. And I so badly wish that my friends and family could see that beautiful side of him. But I also want someone that I can bring around my friends and family. What do I do? This is such a difficult situation. This is such a hard situation, and I have had this happen to me so many times before because I personally was very attracted to introverts. And so I have experienced this before, and it's really, really, really quite tricky because we get to see this beautiful, chatty, dynamic, clever, goofy, funny guy. That's what we get to see because he's comfortable with us. But then once we bring him into a social situation, the people we care about most don't get to see that. And granted, of course, he doesn't really want to come out with your friends and family anymore because he feels uncomfortable. He has social anxiety, so being social in general is difficult for him, even if he was really close with everybody. But being that it's your friends and family that share your interests, which probably he doesn't relate to as much as you do, it makes it even harder, especially with social anxiety. And so I understand what you guys are going through from both sides, from his side and from your side. And it is very, very hard. But I want you to ask yourself, is this what you want moving forward? Do you want to have to pull teeth for him to come around anything? Or are you okay to completely live an independent life from him and him not being involved? Because there's going to be a very slim chance that he's going to wake up one day, not have social anxiety, and be able to walk around your friends and family and just comfortably fit in. It's very unlikely that's going to happen. It sometimes does happen and people warm up, and if they really push themselves to change, that sometimes does happen. But if he's shown no signs of changing in that regard for being social, then it's probably not going to change now. And I don't know how old you guys are, if you're in your 30s or 20s, but there's a good chance he is set in his ways there. And also, he probably very much feels most comfortable at home, and he doesn't want to be pushed into uncomfortable situations because he enjoys his bubble of comfort, whatever he has created for himself. Now, one thing that's really easy to do when we are first looking to date. Now, I'm going to move away from this couple and this question specifically and move more into during the selection process of partnership. We have to tribal vet early on before we develop feelings. And tribal vetting is a dating term that dating coaches use when people are receiving dating coaching. Because when we're out dating and meeting people, we have to bring them around our tribe in order to see how they are around them. And when your friends and family don't like somebody, or your friends and family don't like how you behave around somebody, or your friends and family don't like how they behave around you, or don't like them at all, it's going to impact the rest of your life. And it's kind of better to be able to know that earlier on so you can make a decision prior to being in love. It's also very important to keep in mind that our relationships have to move outside of the household smoothly. We have to be able to intermingle our lives if we're going to build a life together. And so I'm not saying that he has to be best friends with your friends and family, and you have to be best friends with his friends and family, and you have to share all the same interests and hobbies. Be independent, have your own independent interests. But when it comes time to come together for family gatherings or for, friends' birthdays or what have you, your partner has to be able to seamlessly move into that situation, because when that doesn't happen, it very much impacts people's lives. And so the tribal vetting early on is really important for that. Now, in regards to this, I think there's not much we can do outside of you just making a decision and moving forward. So whatever that may be. So you have to decide to yourself, is he so important to you that it's okay that you can go to all these family functions and all of these friends' birthdays, parties by yourself? And if that is okay, and the love and fun that you two have together in your household is enough to keep you happy, I want you to choose that, and I want you to move forward remembering that you chose that. And of course, work on him to see if he wants to come out, and always invite him. But if he says no, you have to remember that you made that choice 6 months in, that is going to be your life, and that is okay, because the love was enough for that. Okay. Now, say, for example, you say, no, that is not okay with me. I want a partner who I can bring around my friends and family, who can manage themselves in a social situation, in which case you may need to, unfortunately, end this relationship and go find somebody who does. But regardless of what you decide to do now, you have to stick to your decision. So if you decide now that it's okay that he is the way he is and you love him, regardless and in spite of and because of this, then move forward and remember that decision and never hold resentment towards him. Or cut it now and go find somebody that can be around your friends and family. But whatever you choose to do, you have to stick to your decision. Now let's do question number 2, which is under the same theme as question number 1 and 3. In the past, I have brought some men that I was dating around my friends. Never have my friends liked anyone I've dated. Sometimes my friend can be a lot, so most of them I don't really trust their opinion. But there is one friend who is steady, confident, and can see someone's true character really quickly. Still, he hasn't liked anyone I've dated. I'm now afraid to introduce the men I'm dating to my friends. But now, most recently my ex especially, complain that I don't make time for them, choose my friends over them, and won't open my life up to them. I don't know what to do. This is fascinating. This is so absolutely fascinating, because this goes back to the tribal vetting I discussed in question number 1, where when we're dating somebody, we want to bring them around our friends relatively early into the relationship to see how they interact. Now, we can't expect everybody to just meld into our friend circle on the first meeting and just get along with everybody. And one thing that I love about what she said is that she chose to not trust all of their opinions, because sometimes our friends can be a hot mess and they don't know someone's true color anyhow. So, but she does have that one steady friend that she trusts their opinion, and he has yet to ever like any of her boyfriends. And it's actually really interesting to trust the opinion of the same sex as the partner, people you're dating, because they can truly see into character the way that we never could. So it's kind of cool that she has somebody that is a man that's meeting these men and giving his opinion. So first thing I want to do is break apart tribal vetting. What we want to do is we want to bring them around the friends that we truly do trust the most. We want to bring them around friends that, won't get jealous because our time is being monopolized with a new partnership. We want somebody who, has the potential to like everybody. We don't want someone who just never likes anybody and you are their favorite person. And if anybody, comes around you, they're jealous or they're angry or what have you. They cannot be vetting your partners. They are not a valued source, nor can we value their opinion, because it's going to be skewed based on the relationship with you. But I think everybody has that steady friendship or family member that would be able to honestly tell you the truth about that partner, so that you can come away from the haze of, sex and oxytocin and love or lust or whatever is happening in those early stages, and be able to communicate honestly their thoughts on the person that you are dating, which it sounds like she has here. So if she trusts her friend this much and he truly has not liked any of her past partners, she might need to reflect inwards on the partners that she is choosing. Now, this is the hardest part, because we just want to shake our friends and be like somebody. But if we were to look back into the past partnerships or the past people that we're dating, there's probably a trend there that needs to be addressed. There's probably a reason why we're introducing people that may not be the quality that we deserve, or may not be running in the same circles that they would be able to get along with your friends. One major matchmaking piece that I do when matchmaking people is if it feels like they would run in the same circles and they have similar interests and they have a similar sense of humor that would make them get along with the same group of friends, that leads to a lot more compatibility than like they both golf or they both have family values, the same family values, which are all still very important. But it feels like they would run in the same circles, I'm more likely to match them up. And so we almost need to do the same thing. That's why meeting through friends was such a great matchmaking way of doing things forever, because number one, they've already been tribal vetted. And number two, they're already in the same circle and have similar interests than you because you like the same people. But now we're bringing strangers into friend groups. We're bringing people that don't have that, 5 degrees or 6 degrees of separation. These are complete strangers with different interests that we're bringing into our friend circles, and we're hoping that they're going to get along. It's not necessarily going to happen. Also, we have to hold space for relationships to grow. Now, when I first met my boyfriend's friends, and he's got a huge group of friends, I really liked them. I could tell right away that they were really nice people. They very much cared for my boyfriend. And when I first met them, it was awkward. I like talking about business, and I like talking about, hustling, and I like talking about world affairs, and I like talking about politics and what's going on. They like talking about, cooking and the things that they have done in the past as a group of this really tight-knit group of friends. And they like talking about, just different things. We just had different interests. And so, yeah, right away, we did not click. But we did have a foundational respect for one another, I'm pretty sure. As, we saw more and more of each other as the months went on, my relationship with his group of friends has grown tighter and tighter. The respect has grown. But I also made him very happy, and he made me very happy. So although I probably wouldn't have selected this friend group myself independently, I am so happy and blessed that they have come into my life and that I have been able to be a part of the things that they do together and the beautiful relationships that they share with one another. Like, I'm really grateful for it. But that being said, I doubt that if it wasn't for my boyfriend, I would ever have met them or hung out with them in any way. So holding space for the time for relationships to grow. But if people are saying they don't like your boyfriend because they don't like how you are around them, or they don't like how he treats you, or they don't like that he just won't open up to them or be kind to them or even have a conversation with them, those are little red flags that we really need to be cognizant of. And that's why tribal vetting is so important, because these people very much care about you, and they very much know you, and they very much know who and what is a great fit for you. So say, for example, all of these past relationships or past men haven't passed the tribal vetting. And so now what we're doing is we're pulling back. And we're doing the exact opposite. So we're still dating the same types of people that probably still would not get along with your friend group very well. But now we're not introducing them at all, which your friends and family are still so important to you. Your relationship has to be able to come outside of just the two of you. Now, she said she's afraid to introduce the current man, especially her ex-boyfriend, was complaining that she didn't make time for him. So when we can't allow our partner to come into that part of our life, we are going to have to carve out a unique one-on-one time with them, when we sometimes can just spend time with friends and family and them together, which is ideal as we move into a relationship together. So yeah, I bet you she did have a hard time making time for him because she was prioritizing her friends and that he was a new addition to her life. He said that she chose her friends over him, which again, I could totally understand. and won't open up her life to him. Now, this is really important too, because there's nothing more beautiful and vulnerable and that will move a relationship forward more than to be vulnerable, open up your life to them, and introduce these people to the people, or this man to the people you care about most. That is what takes these relationships to the next level. You know, these relationships kind of start one-on-one, us going on dates, us getting to know each other, and then comes the time to introduce them to the people in your life. And that's what pushes relationships forward. So relationships are going to be stalled if it just stays the two of you. We have to bring them in and around our friends. So I think that she should, as much as it makes her uncomfortable to bring these men around her friends, I say keep bringing them around. Keep listening to your solid, confident friend that can understand people's character, and maybe change up the type of men that you're dating a little bit. Change up, quote unquote, your type. Now, type is usually something that people develop because it's a menagerie of who we've dated in the past, what we're comfortable with, and who we know that we can date successfully. It's hard for us to get outside of our type, quote unquote, because it's unfamiliar. Usually if someone is really, and this is just a theory of mine, but I always find that if somebody is really typecasting the people they're dating to their type, it's a form of anxiety, because now that's just a theory of mine, but I feel like it's a form of anxiety because it's a comfort level. It's a familiarity of what we've experienced in the past. When we go outside of our type, maybe somebody who is more successful, or somebody who is a little bit more of a jokester and quick and sarcastic, or someone who's even better looking than what we're used to in the past, or somebody who, is more social than the introverts we're used to dating. That sometimes makes us uncomfortable and outside of our comfort zone, but it's important to kind of go outside of that type, because if we keep running into the same problems of these early stage relationships, especially introducing them to our friends and family and it not going well, the common denominator truly is you. It truly is your selection process of these people. It is not your friends, especially if you have a friend that you trust dearly. It is not your friends. It is your selection. It is your picker. And so sometimes adjusting that and going outside of our type is a great way to do it, or even seeking out professional help as to why you are selecting these people or why these people are selecting you. Very, very, very much needed. So I hope that helps on that question. And again, it is kind of under the same umbrella as tribal vetting. Question number 3. So I have been with my girlfriend for a year and a half. We only see each other once a week. We are both pretty busy with work, but I think we could make more time for each other. I know I could definitely make more time for her. She has lots of friends that she spends time with, but never invites me out with them. I am extroverted, and I also have lots of friends, and I think I do get along well with her friends. At least I like her friends. A couple of months ago, she told me I wasn't the one and tried to break up with me. I allowed her, but she would still invite me over to hang out once a week. And we just got back into the normal habit of seeing each other once a week. Before 2 months ago, we were boyfriend and girlfriend, but she did try to break up with me, but we are still behaving as boyfriend and girlfriend and still seeing each other once a week. I'm confused and not sure what's happening. I want to communicate that I want to see her more, but I also don't know where we stand, and I'm not sure what to do next. This is really hard too. So if they've been together for a year and a half, probably they met through COVID, and, they had a lot of one-on-one time together, and they probably had just a lot of time together in general to build a beautiful bonded relationship. That's one thing about COVID is that, it created a life for us that didn't include a large group of people or a large group of friends or something like that. So there was a lot of relationships out there that were built on one-on-one, because that was what was happening with COVID. You kept your circles small, and a lot of the time you were just spending time with your significant other, and maybe a couple more people, but nothing major. And then as we come out of COVID and we start going to events and there's bigger groups of people and we start meeting more friends and we start doing more things and our schedules get more busy with events and work and things like that, it's been throwing a wrench into a lot of relationships because we have to navigate this new type of relationship, which includes a lot of other people and a lot of other hurdles in our life. Now, them seeing each other once a week. This is probably her because he says that he wants to spend more time. He's probably communicated that he wants to spend more time, but she's probably decided that she just wants to see him once a week. This is where I really want people to stop and communicate what it is that they truly want. If he wants to see her, twice a week or through the entire weekend or something like that, and he wants to take up more of her time, and if he communicates that and she says no, or doesn't take the fact that that's what he wants seriously, or doesn't listen to his feelings of what will make up a good relationship, then that is a little bit of a red flag. That is something that we will have to discuss further. So often we focus on what our partner wants. She only wants to see me once a week because her other days off she wants to spend with her friends. She only wants to see me this much because the rest of the time she needs to work or rest or, do her hobbies. But in order to move forward into a relationship, we do need to spend more time together and we do need to integrate each other into our lives. Now, this is why it's so important that you feel comfortable bringing your partner into your friend groups. Because if you have to choose and carve out your time separate from your friends and your partner, and you have to separate that, whatever that may be, and the reason that may be, it is going to make it so much harder for you, and it's going to make it hard for the relationship to grow. And so this is why we have to bring them in and around the friends, and we have to feel comfortable doing that. Now, I wonder why she isn't bringing him around her friends. Now, he says that he's extroverted and he can chat to anybody and that he has lots of friends, but I wonder what may have happened that she doesn't feel comfortable bringing him around her friends, because in the previous two questions, we have heard that their friends didn't like the partner. And so probably she stopped bringing them around or what have you. Maybe there's something going on there and she just hasn't communicated what had happened. Now, this is why communication is so important in a relationship as well. Rather than her just deciding for herself that she is not going to no longer bring him around her friends, rather than her deciding that and not communicating that to him, it just creates a lot of confusion in the relationship. Where if she said, which it's still hurtful, and that's why we don't say it, if she had said, listen, I want to bring you around my friends, but they don't like it when you talk about this, or, whatever it may be. That would be more beneficial to growing a relationship than just to keep that to yourself to save hurt feelings. He may be able to adjust his behavior in front of your friends. He may be able to be a little bit more cognizant on how he's communicating in front of your friends. He may be able to allow himself to be more of a listener than a conversation takeover. I don't know what's happening, but communicating that to him is important rather than just telling him or not inviting him out with your friends. Now that's moving into the seeing each other once a week. And him wanting to see her more. We want to focus on our needs too. If you want your relationship to be that you are seeing your partner 2 to 3 times a week and you communicate that and it doesn't happen, we need to analyze the relationship on, is this what I want? Is this what I want? Do I want a partnership that I only see them once a week? Is this truly what I want? And if not, we might need to make some decisions. Now, what really concerns me is her telling him that he was not the one and tried to break up with him a couple months ago. I feel that the bond between them, whatever happened throughout COVID or any bond between anybody that have gotten into a romantic relationship, made her feel lonely on those days that they normally spend together. And so she continued to invite him over because she really wasn't able to monitor her emotions enough. And so she had broken up with him. She had communicated how she felt and she had ended that relationship, but that bond kept her moving back towards him. And so it's a conflict of love and logic. It's a conflict of, making the logical decision and then not sticking to it. And I know I said this a couple times in these questions is you have to make a decision and you have to stick to that decision. You cannot waffle. Once you decide you're going to do something, you do it and you stick to it. It's so much kinder to both of you. So if she had just said, you're not the one, broke up with him, and then clean cut and against all of her best hopes, stayed away from him, it would have been so much kinder on him because he would have been able to take his energy and go meet somebody who can give him what he wants, whether it's a relationship where they see each other a couple times a week or a relationship where her friend groups love him and open up to him and he's able to spend time with her friends as well. Giving him the space and the opportunity to go find that elsewhere is way more kinder than continuing to spend time with him because his feelings are hurt then and there. One thing that I want to tell him is when someone tells you something like that, you believe them. When someone says you are not the one, I am breaking up with you, it is your responsibility to believe them and take the steps that need to be done. It's extremely hurtful for someone to say that, but you have to believe them when they say that you are not their person. And it is more kind on you and them for him to also allow that to be a clean break, even through the heartbreak, allow it to be a clean break and remove himself from that situation and say no to the invites over, no matter how hard that is. This is all me saying this from a pedestal of not going through this. So it's easy for me to say this is what you should do. But in the rapture of the emotions, it's so much harder. But it's nice to know in the background that this is what should be done. Honestly, when we're out dating, when anybody tells us anything, we should believe them. You're not the one. I'm actually not looking for a relationship. Believe them. I'm only looking for casual. Believe them. We're not a romantic fit. Believe them. I'm not attracted to you. Believe them. I know all of this is hurtful, but I would rather hear that than be drug along or pulled along or breadcrumbed or whatever it is. So when someone tells us something, believe them and just know that everybody is worthy of the relationship that they want. You are all worthy of the relationship that you want. And I want you to sit down and I want you to think about what's important to you. Some people, friends and family, having their partner within that is not important to them, in which case, awesome. There's lots of amazing people out there that would love that type of arrangement. But if your friends and family are the most important thing in your life and your partner has to be able to fit into that, well, then we do not stop looking until we find that person. We really don't, because we have decided now that that's important to us. Now, giving you a little bit of personal reference to all of these questions, I am an introvert dater. So I am a little bit more extroverted with an introverted side, but I was always very attracted to introverts. And I just liked them because they are, I don't know. I always found that extroverts made me uncomfortable. So this could be my own hold back of my type. Maybe if I went, and the thing is that once I started dating somebody a little bit more extroverted, I realized that was my beautiful Goldilocks relationship. Because I kept going for these introverted men and it was hard to bring them around my friends. It was hard to introduce them to my friends and family. If I wanted to go do something and I wanted them to be with me, it was like pulling teeth. And then once they were there, they weren't having fun. So I wasn't having fun. So then eventually I would just go to everything by myself, in which case I was having more fun, but I was spending less time with him, even though I wanted to spend all my time with him. So it was this constant struggle. And I would do this in relationships over and over and over again. And that was my pattern. And then my current guy, yes, he's introverted. So he still has those attractive points that I find attractive. The introversion, the wholesomeness of an introvert. But he has this beautiful group of friends and he likes to do things and he likes to plan things and he likes to go out, but he still needs his introverted time, of course. But after having all of those relationships that weren't able to be brought into the outside life of our household, once I was able to have a relationship where I could do that. I don't know what I was doing, wasting my time with all of those people that weren't able to give me what I wanted. And once I met him and I met his friends and I brought him around my friends and my family, and it's just been so seamless, the relationship has grown into something so beautiful because we get to spend so much time with each other outside of just the two of us. And it makes us stronger because the friendships that we share, having those people be a part of our relationship makes it grow stronger as well, because it makes us aware of maybe a little cracks, or it makes us aware of how well we're doing, or it makes us aware of, wow, maybe we're going a little bit slower and we should pick up the speed in having conversations about this. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's really such a beautiful thing when your tribe can be brought into your relationship. And so, yeah, we have to be sure of what we want. We have to tribal vet when we're dating. And if we end up with someone who's not able to meet our needs or give us what we want, we have to make a decision, stick to it, and find what it is we truly want in a future partnership. Thank you so much for tuning into this hotline. I hope you got value out of this. And gosh, I really do not like talking about myself, but this was one of those episodes where it was just a lot of me talking, which I'm totally okay with, but I don't like hearing myself talk, which is why I started a podcast, because I could bring guests on and they would do all the talking. But here we are on a hotline, me doing all the talking. What do you guys think about today's episode? I would love to hear if this has impacted you at all, if it has made an epiphany for you from past relationships and what you're looking for in the future. Let me know if there's anything that impacted you here. And if it did, please, please, please leave a review. Reviews are what make outside people know that this is a worthwhile podcast to listen to, and really powerful stuff. So if you can take 35 seconds right now, go leave a 5-star review or leave a couple of words of what you got out of this. It would be so, so, so helpful. And subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you use. And then, of course, share. If somebody would get a lot out of this and they're struggling with something similar, or they've even asked you a similar question to this, sometimes it's hard to hear it from our friends and the people we care about. Sharing this as an outside party, sharing wisdom, would be really helpful. So of course, share to anybody you think would be really impacted by this. And follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at JE Matchmaking. And thank you again for joining us. And I'm so excited to open up the Book of Love with all of you.